explain to me again why an alkaline solution has a sense of freshness and what that means. Explain to me again, sort of from zero, what you're trying to achieve with how you're trying to generate freshness from an alkaline starting point.
Mm-hmm. The idea started with the white wines mostly, because the region having a fairly bad reputation for making very heavy, a bit oxidative, full-bodied alcoholic whites. We tried to use our experience, from all the traveling we did, and tried to make wines which were very ripe, mind you, but with more elegance and something you really want to drink, something you want to ask another glass of, as opposed to just struggling to finish the bottle. And it all started with this fantastic winemaker that I came across many years ago. I love his wines. He's in the Friuli. He's called Josko Gravner. And I was always amazed by the results he was achieving with Ribolla. And we thought, well, why not trying with Marsanne? Because Marsanne is a bit of the poor child of the Northern Rhone. Everybody raves on Roussanne. Oh, Roussanne is so aromatic and the rest of it. But we wanted to express the true potential of Marsanne. And we thought, okay, well, if we're going to press, even whole bunch press straight away, all those interesting flavors are going to remain in the skins and will be left behind in the press, and we will never get them in the wine. So the original idea was to extract interesting flavor profile from Marsanne by working the skins the way you would do with a red wine, because we knew there was flavors there, but we knew, very much like Pinot Noir, that they were difficult to extract and they would come much later into the winemaking process. So the original idea was more flavor oriented. And as we started working out those flavors, we also realized that there was more to it than just the flavors. There was something salty, something a bit iodine, something alkaline in those skins that we never experienced before. So we went even further into the Marsanne by extending the macerations. Now we're about up to 8 weeks on skins, and a varying percentage of stalks depending on the vintage, whether they're ripe or not ripe, basically. And being so happy with the results we achieved with the Marsanne, we then decided to do it on reds as well. And because sodium and potassium salts, are not something special to white varieties, they're in all varieties, white, red and white. So we experimented in reds as well, and therefore minimized our cap management and went into that post-fermentation warm maceration infusion to achieve the same result. And what is even more rewarding, and that I believe is something to do with biodynamics, is the fact that when we make rosé, even though we have only 48 hours skin contact, which mind you is quite long for rosé, we still manage to extract some of that saltiness into the wines. And minerality or saltiness, I think it's exactly the same thing, the same expression, it's just synonym, is a very, very common factor in biodynamic wines. And even though biodynamic somehow can have slightly like esoteric, difficult aspect to understand, the minerality is very difficult to prove to public who still have doubts about it, because you can actually run a very easy analysis called dry extract analysis, whereby you just basically boil down to zero wine, and you end up with ashes, so to speak, solid elements, at the bottom of your test tubes. And those elements are, to some extent, polyphenols, but mostly sodium and potassium salts. And we have been running that analysis now for quite some time on various wines and comparing with our neighbors. would there be an organic, unconventional, and the dry extract in our wines is always far higher than our neighbors. So we can not only measure it, quantify it, measure it, but also taste it very, very in a very evident manner in the wines. And I have the impression that the more we farm the land the way we do, the stronger that expression is becoming.